Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your WWE Stomping Grounds preview and predictions. And we've got actually quite a few matches announced for the show. We've got 9 total matches announced for this show. And believe it or not, only 2 of the 9 are non-title. We've got 7 championships being defended on this show, including both world titles, both women's titles, and the Cruiserweight title of all things, all being defended on this show. So I'm actually, the few of the title matches that we've got set up, granted the 2 world title matches, not so much, but pretty much the rest of the championship matches, I'm pretty excited for. That being said, though, John, before we get too far into this, before I start rambling, I wanted to just kind of get your thoughts on the show as a whole.
Brother, I'm going to be viscerally honest with you and everybody else. I really couldn't give 2 shits about this show happening. In fact, if we were not a formal podcast that covers pro wrestling, I would skip this show entirely. And adding on to that fact that I find all of our time to be valuable, I think you'll find my predictions coming rather rapid fire because so much of this seems to be a rehash from fucking super sellouts. So, really to me, this is a speed bump to hopefully Extreme Rules. I would like to be hyped for that show, but it could just be one of 2 speed bumps with the bigger thing being SummerSlam. I keep saying that SummerSlam better show out this year. And really, as far as wrestling goes, my only focus has been, for the last little bit, G1 Climax 29. You've got the return of Kenta in Japan. A-Block's fucking stacked. You've got Shingo debuting in the G1, Ospreay making his G1 debut. Fucking, top to bottom, it's freaking excellent. So yeah, that's where my focus is. This show is nothing to me. In fact, it may even be less than nothing. And I really hope the WWE steps its game up with SummerSlam right around the corner. So hype level, I will say I will give some of the undercards some credit, particularly the U.S. title match. I am looking forward to that. It's nice to see guys the caliber of Ricochet getting opportunities. But even factoring that in, and I think this assessment is generous coming from me, I'll say that my hype is a 4.5 to a 5 out of 10.
Yeah, I've been sitting here holding up a 5 like fucking Big E. 3 ain't enough, man. I need 5 because that's what I'm at. I'm at a 5. I'm at a 5 out of 10 for this.
Yeah, I'm right with Chiefin. I think Chiefin's speaking my language. Like, there are definitely performers on this card that I appreciate. So the performers I respect. If we talk about seeing certain performers, the hype goes up. But when you look at it in totality, so many people I think were failed, and again the product just feels meh. But again, all of our time is valuable. So, and then we've got better things to do than talking about this shit show with G1 on the horizon. So Let's get to this.
I do want to just kind of go through the matches before we get to any predictions and just talk about, because we just kind of said what just a straight number as far as our hype level, but I want to kind of talk about what matches kind of generate our number, like why I have a 5, why you have a 4.5 or a 5, that kind of thing. So as far as the matches that I don't care about New Day versus Owens and Zayn because there are no stakes. I don't care about Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre because it's just a WrestleMania rematch. I don't care about Bayley Bliss because I'm fully expecting Bayley to retain because I don't think that we're going to have any like inter-brand championship swapping. So I don't think a Raw star is going to ever win a SmackDown title and vice versa. And really the only other match that I'm genuinely not looking forward to is the rematch between Kofi and Dolph in a steel cage. I don't give a shit about that. And I probably will be paying more attention to chat than the actual match itself for that. But other than that, Rollins Corbin is like a meh. Becky Lacey is like a meh. The matches that I'm really looking forward to are the Cruiserweight title, the SmackDown tag titles, and the US title.
And I completely agree with you on that. And I'd say maybe a little bit of interest in Rollins Corbin, but that's only for potential post-match action with the
plus and everything. The special guest referee keeps the intrigue there.
Exactly. But that,
we still don't know who that's going to be. That has not been confirmed yet.
But you know what, dude? Like, you and I are pretty much in agreement that our hype is for the undercard. This is stuff that you could scour on fucking YouTube for. Like, this does not feel like a fucking pay-per-view to me. So no, let's go through, because I'll even give you more of my thoughts match by match. So you want to start with the New Day Zayn Owens.
Yeah, and I was even going to say too, before we do get into that, I feel like this card would be helped immensely if the Cruiserweight title stayed on the main card and didn't get demoted to the pre-show.
I agree with you, and personally, I'll go one step further. I think this should have been the opener rather than a no-stakes bullshit tag match.
Well, no, I mean, I don't have it in order of like the announced. They don't have the card isn't announced in order yet.
True, but hypothetically, if they do give it priority being a championship, in one way I do understand that. But let's just talk about the tag match since I already kind of mentioned it. This is fucking garbage to me, and it's a shame because I like all four people involved. It's not the performers. But look at what you've done in the booking with Zayn and Owens. You've completely made them. They have no credibility to me. They are the New Day.
And 50-50 booking says they're going to win here, too.
And see, I disagree. I think New Day is going to win again. I feel like they're going to pull the win out. Now, I hope I'm wrong. I actually hope you're right in this case because the fucking heels need something.
Yeah.
But, like, they're the fucking New Day's whipping post right now. It seems
it's so ironic because I was even going to say, I hope you're wrong. Or no, wait. You're saying you think so I hope you're right, actually. Because really, to me, all I want is for Ziggler, Owens, and Zayn to get the fuck away from the New Day and everyone involved. Because this entire feud has just been garbage to me. So if the New Day and Kofi winning decisively on this show is what it would take to do that, I am all for it.
I think it's going to happen, and I think Zayn and Owens after this need some, I won't say major rehabilitation because I won't call it an outright burial or any of that language. But I do think the booking has fucking sucked for these guys. I mean, you've got a guy in, and I want to focus on Sami Zayn specifically because Owens and Kofi showed out, and they really should have relegated Owens. That's neither Kofi's fault, anybody's fault. Again, it's not on the performers. It's the structure in which they're situated. You're looking at a guy like Sami Zayn who's been cutting such stellar promos. He's been getting heat like nobody's business. Why are we not positioning him? And maybe we are, but they have a weird fucking way of showing it. I would have him with SummerSlam being in Toronto. I'd have him in the WWE Championship match. I'd have him beat Kofi. Like, I feel like Sami is the fucking heel right now if you got behind him. But see, that's the difference between those that the machine is behind and those where they are not. Because when you are not, you can go out there and you can cut the best promos and you could be the fucking highlight. But if the booking does not keep pace with your reactions and the quality of your work, it's not going to fucking matter. Because then it's going to come out where, like, it's always a war of attrition, right? They expect the audiences, like anything else in the world. If you keep it up long enough, people will no longer care. And then your way wins out. So whatever they envision for Zayn, they just got to keep treating him like shit until we stop caring. And you know, 9 times out of 10, it works. I think both Zayn and Owens are better than this. Personally, I think Xavier and Big E are better than this. Because in countless New Day interviews, we hear, oh, we'd love to go, like, hypothetically, like Big E going after the IC title, hypothetically speaking, or Xavier going after the US title. Why aren't we doing that? Why haven't we been having, like, more fun and exploration with the New Day as a concept? I mean, these guys still have vitality to give. They don't want to break up. They've said that multiple times. Then fucking use it. But instead, no, we're doing this freaking retread over and over and over and over and over and over and over. It's pointless. I think New Day's winning. Again, I hope you're right about Zayn and Owens going over. But even if they do, either do something unique with this pairing and get them in the tag titles, or get them back to being singles competitors and keep them far away from each other, which that too would be my preference. But yeah, New Day for the win.
Yeah. I'm actually going to go the other way. It's funny because we're picking the team that we don't want to win because you want Owens and Zayn to win just to get their credibility back. I'm picking Owens and Zayn to win despite the fact that I want New Day to win because I want this feud to be over.
Exactly. Yeah, I completely understand that.
All right, so then let's get into our only other match on this entire show that does not have championship kind of, implications. Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre, a WrestleMania rematch. Roman winning. I don't care.
And again, I disagree. It's amazing how a show that I don't give a shit about, like, at all, just sees us disagreeing 2 matches straight. I actually see Drew winning due to Shane interference. And I think Mark might have even said this on his blog, which I did retweet, guys. If you want to go on my Twitter and read that, or go on Mark's Twitter and read it, it was a great breakdown. His own preview predictions for Stomping Grounds. I could see Shane or the Revival running interference, since the Revival are not on this card defending the Raw tag titles, costing Roman the match. And then we get a big handicap match at Extreme Rules. I would assume it would just be Drew and Shane versus Roman in some kind of stip match. Plus, I think Drew, that you talk about 50-50 booking, I don't think Drew's ever formally gotten his win back over Roman from WrestleMania. So I think that they're going to want to tip the scales a little bit. Again, I don't fucking care. They make the same mistake with every top babyface. You know, you have this, I don't want to call it a story because it was real life with Roman, you know, beating the cancer. But you know, WWE is going to take it and they're going to be like, you know, look how inspiring it is, just like they do with everything else. And, you know, you could have told a great story from a real life event. Like, you know, I came in contact with my mortality and I'm shaken up. And am I in good enough shape to get back in the ring? Can I still perform at this level? You could have had him lose to Drew at fucking Mania, you know, cause this whole crisis. And then you really do the comeback. I just feel like, yeah, they're still like overly protecting him. He's still winning in ridiculous odds. He beat the B team in a ridiculous handicap match only like a few weeks ago. That saw like ref bumps and fucking everything. It's still the same Roman Reigns bullshit. So it's the same apathy for me. Drew, on the other hand, it's fucking crime what they've done to that man. You know, spends all this time, you know, cultivating his look, getting all that experience because he wanted to come back to WWE because, you know, in his mind, I guess if you don't make it there, you ain't shit. And he wanted to make it there. And really, I think he's right back to where he started before he left the company, except credited, you know, I guess to his credit, he is still on TV more actively. And I guess he's in a quote unquote high profile angle. But I just haven't seen him move the needle in forever when I thought he'd be a world champion by now. So that's a fucking crying shame on that end. But yeah, I see Drew getting a cheap win here, and then Roman ultimately wins the war mercifully at fucking Extreme Rules. So yeah,
I'm gonna be completely transparent with you, man. All the talk that we've been doing about how like garbage this pay-per-view is and how it's all rematches and shit, I am sincerely looking more forward to the post Stomping Grounds Raw and SmackDown than I am looking forward to Stomping Grounds itself. Because if this past week's episodes of Raw and SmackDown, and by this past week I mean like 3 and 4 days ago, are an example of what we're going to be getting going forward, I'm all in. Because like we got Viking Raiders on Raw, we got like we're getting, it seems like all of the people, you know, with some exceptions that we complained about not getting for the longest time, we got them this past week. So it feels like they're trying to set things up to really hit the ground running after Stomping Grounds. And I've even been saying for a little while now too that like I think that they've just been in like a motion, like in motion, like doing the going through the motions, like in autopilot because of the Saudi Arabia show. And it's like, well, you know, we technically have to book 2 shows, but let's just kind of do everything on both shows. Like they had a bunch of matches on the Saudi Arabia show that they're going to be doing here at Stomping Grounds. And I think that that's just because they would have rather just done them at Stomping Grounds. Because if you think about it, like all the matches that they did at the Saudi Arabia show that are happening on Stomping Grounds, if they wouldn't have done them on the Saudi Arabia show, we wouldn't be as annoyed by the Stomping Grounds card because it wouldn't be as repetitive. You know what I mean?
No, dude, you're 1,000% right on that. And you know what? I do hope that, because I know you've been saying that you feel like things will like turn around a little bit and that they're like trying to like set a new stage, so to speak, for Extreme Rules. I hope you're right about that, because here's the thing too. Yeah, like I enjoyed Raw and SmackDown this past week, you know, just like you. And it was good. But again, like there's so much wrestling that you and I as a podcast consume like on a regular basis that even good anymore by WWE standards, it doesn't really do much for me relative to what we've been getting in other parts of the world.
Right.
And, you know, and again, like I don't mean to be like one of those whining, complaining, whatever person. I don't like doing that. Like it's easier when you're excited about something. But you know, like,
and maybe I've just been making it easier on myself by allowing myself to get excited about the prospect of post Stomping Grounds WWE.
But no, I don't blame you, because like they have the most saturated product. Their tendrils are fucking everywhere, and consistently the best thing they're doing. Like if you want to talk about genuine excitement, so it seems like I'm not totally like kvetching for the whole preview and predictions. Look at fucking NXT and the breakout tournament that they're going to start next week. Oh, that's a cool concept.
Yes.
That is something I am genuinely fucking excited about, because it's literally 8 people that we haven't seen before on the product. I mean, we've seen before in wrestling terms, but not in NXT terms, vying for a championship opportunity. That is fucking fresh. But here we talk about rehash. And look, I understand that some feuds you can't contain in one pay-per-view or whatever, and you do want to extend it. But when I think about those feuds, they're like blood feuds. They're personal. I just actually got done before we got on here rewatching the unsanctioned match between Shawn Michaels and Jericho from 2008 And this was following when Jericho like punched Michael's wife in the eye. That was fucking personal. And it culminated at No Mercy a month later in their ladder match. That was a 7-month feud. But it never felt like stagnant. It always felt like they were raising the stakes. There's no stakes being raised between Drew and Roman. I mean, what? The Shane McMahon being involved is raising the stakes? Fuck that. It's so lifeless. So fucking lifeless. But I do hope you're right. I do hope that when we cross this, Extreme Rules is better. And it being a gimmicky pay-per-view, I don't think hurts it. In fact, in this case, I do think it helps it a bit if you play your cards right. And then please, merciful God, may SummerSlam be worth watching. Because G1, I really think is going to kick their ass this year.
And the thing is, the G1 final 3 days, like the A block finals, B block finals, and then the tournament finals, overlap with TakeOver and SummerSlam.
Yeah. So you best bring it. You best bring it. But keeping focus on this, so like I said, all of our time is valuable on this fucking pile of feces. Drew wins. We get the culmination at Extreme Rules.
Yeah, I think Roman's gonna win as like you got to beat me to get to him kind of thing, and then we get Shane Roman, maybe at Extreme Rules, and maybe we do like you said, like a handicap match with a stipulation, like a cage or like a street fight or something along those lines. And you know what? Maybe it won't even be a handicap. Maybe it'll just be Shane versus Roman, but with the no DQ stipulation, so Drew will get involved a bunch at Extreme Rules. That makes sense to me. And then I wouldn't be surprised if Kofi makes it to SummerSlam with the WWE title. He's totally defending it against Shane.
Yeah, I mean, you've been saying that. I think I've seen others say that. And honestly, there was a time when I felt like Shane's heel heat was like white hot, that I was actually really into the idea. But I think he's suffering from overexposure a bit.
Oh, dude, I'm not saying I want it, but this is WWE, and they don't give a shit what we want. They just care what they want to do.
Yeah, that is true. But in the meantime, let's just get on to our next matchup. What else we got?
We've got our first championship match, and that being one of the 3 matches on this card that I am genuinely looking forward to. Tony Nese defending the Cruiserweight title against Tozawa and Gulak. I'm hoping Gulak will get a win here, but I'm just fully expecting Nese to retain.
This is the first time that you and I are in complete agreement on this video, because ideally, right, I'd have Gulak finally become the Cruiserweight champion and have a nice title reign before dropping it to Chad Gable. Maybe like several months later, however long you'd want to build Gable up.
Or Humberto Carrillo, whatever works.
Or Humberto Carrillo. Hey, absolutely. Humberto Carrillo and Drew Gulak, they do have history.
I'm telling you, man, you got to go back and watch the 205 Live Fatal 4-Way main event from 2 weeks ago, like 2 Tuesdays ago. It was incredible. It was one of the best matches I've seen on a WWE product this year.
And that's amazing that you're recommending that match to me on the same 205 Live where I've been really pressing you to watch Gable versus Gallagher from. So it's amazing that we're recommending each other like the matches that actually happened on that episode.
Yeah, and I watched that and it was good, but like it didn't sort of inspire like excitement out of me. It was just like a solid match to me. But then the main event did inspire excitement out of me. It was so good to me.
Very cool. Very cool. But yeah, I mean, obviously I'm going to opt for Gable Gulak for the technical clinic. And like, that's my fucking wheelhouse.
Oh, but yeah, dude, Carrillo, I hope we get that match. I'm just saying, like, as far as champion goes, I'd be fine with Gable. But I just love Humberto so much.
Oh, absolutely. And dude, the guy's immensely talented. And again, that's what we're talking about. Fresh talents, fresh matches, fresh fucking, feuds. Unfortunately, while I think Gulak is the smart choice, because especially too, if he's got a championship, logically speaking, that would mean more airtime and more mic time. Dude's got a personality. And I think it's honestly a shame that 205 Live hasn't tapped more into that, because
and it would be really cool too, because we see him in NXT a lot. So maybe he could even defend the Cruiserweight title in NXT against like an Adam Cole or something along those lines.
That would be really cool. And it's a shame. I don't really know if it's as much a stigma anymore, but I feel like when I was growing up, it was kind of a stigma that, if you were a really supreme technical wrestler in the ring, it came at the cost of your personality. You were pretty much had the personality of a wet carrot.
Lance Storm, Chris Benoit.
Exactly. But I really feel
Malenko.
like, and a special Malenko was the fucking poster boy. But I feel like Gulak really breaks that mold, and I would like to see him given a fair opportunity, as Cruiserweight champion, to demonstrate that fact.
One could even say he's more William Regal than he is Dean Malenko.
Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. So I hope that Drew wins, but I don't think Nese is done yet, which is a shame because I have nothing against Nese, but I just feel like Gulak is the better option, especially for future feuds and matchups. So I'll go with Tony Nese to retain like you, but also like you, I am rooting for Drew Gulak. So
yeah, you weren't kidding when you said that we were in complete agreement, like across the board on that. All right.
Yeah.
Let's get to our next match, the women's SmackDown Women's Championship. Bayley defending against Alexa Bliss. And again, I know that it's probably like easy to be like, oh, it's Bliss. They overpush her all the hell. She's probably going to win the title here because that's like the bleak outlook. That's like the pessimist in me is like, oh yeah, Bliss is totally winning. But the logic's kind of firing away. And I don't think that we're going to see a title change from SmackDown to go on a Raw star or vice versa. And I'm going to continue insisting that it's not going to happen until it happens, at which point all hell breaks loose, Pandora's box is open, and I don't give a shit about brand-specific superstars anymore.
Yeah, I mean, man, once again, I'm in agreement with you. Bayley retains. I think she needs to retain. I like Bayley as champion. I like the swagger that she's got with the title. Where my pessimism comes in, right, is I fully expect Bayley to drop the SmackDown Women's title back to Charlotte at SummerSlam. Like, I think it's going to be Bayley, Charlotte, SummerSlam. Charlotte regains the title. That's my pessimism at the moment.
Is it really pessimism, though, or is it really just you low-key trying to set up Kyrie Mania?
Okay. First of all, I'm always trying to set up Kyrie Mania. Second of all, though, you and I both know how overpushed Charlotte is. Is it really pessimism, or is it me just being the most logical person in the room?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I honestly, you're probably right, unfortunately, but I just hope it's Ember and not Charlotte, but it won't be. God damn.
Well, I mean, and I'll tell you, too, I feel like this being the SmackDown Women's Championship match, and again, I'm just especially angry. I'll probably go back and think, man, I shouldn't have been that angry, and I shouldn't have been that pissy on the recording, but for right now, I don't give a shit, and I'm just going to say that this championship match is an insult to the SmackDown Women's division. To have a fucking Raw woman challenging for that title when your roster is stacked, even if you would have done a throwaway because you need a heel, like Sonya Deville versus Bayley or something, I would have liked that better than this. I really, really do not give a shit about this. And if you think I'm being vicious, again, go to Mark's blog and see the Alexa rant he did. So I know.
Did he do another one recently?
No, I'm talking about the preview predictions blog post he did, and we talked about it. The whole Alexa and the whole rant he did about this match, which he saved for last. So yeah, I've got kid gloves on, I feel like, in comparison. But yeah, I don't give a fuck about this. Really, if I'm being truthful, another shame of this match to me, because I do feel like, much like Shane, it's funny that I mentioned that about him earlier, and I know we felt this way about Alexa for a long time, at least until the injuries and everything. I felt like she was way overexposed, way over-promoted, this and that. I felt like the tag team she had with Nikki could have been an interesting opportunity for her to evolve a little bit, because you and I have been saying, either on recording or just to each other watching Raw together, we don't know what they're doing with Alexa Bliss. There are times that she seems like she's acting like a babyface, other times that it's just typical Bliss heel. I would have liked a face turn with the fucking Strange Bedfellows tag team, that's the term I was looking for, with Nikki Cross, and with them actually becoming, I mean, look, Kabuki Warrior's fine, but I'm all about Kyrie as a singles competitor. I would not have minded Nikki and Alexa being tag team champions, legitimately. But we're going now, and it really does seem like a rehash of the Alexa-Nia feud with Nikki in the Nia role, which, why? It's just, again, it's lifeless.
So do you think Nikki is going to try to help Bliss on Sunday, but end up accidentally costing her the match, and that's going to be the big thing that sends Bliss into the fuck Nikki mode?
Yeah. I actually 100% think that's how it's going to go down. And honestly, if we're going to do like a women's Extreme Rules match, why not do it against somebody that Alexa completely fears so that she won't fucking bury her like she did Bayley when in their Extreme Rules match? Do fucking Nikki versus Alexa. I think that would get Nikki immensely over if Alexa.
You know what? Do it, and more importantly, put it on a fucking pay-per-view. We need more non-title women's matches on pay-per-views.
Yeah, I would love Nikki again, like you said, Nikki tries to help Alexa on Sunday, backfires. Alexa's all, pissy and angry, and how dare you, Nikki? I never cared about you. You do Nikki Alexa an Extreme Rules match at the pay-per-view. No, just non-title. It's a grudge feud. You have Nikki.
Maybe even a street fight or like a last woman standing match or something really personal like that.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And then you could have Bliss legitimately sell the fear the way she's done with Nia and others. And again, this isn't going to be a fucking burial like what she did to Bayley. And, you know, you have Nikki win, and that really sets her up, especially, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen in either the Raw or SmackDown Women's Championship pictures, you know, when a heel's going to get one of those titles back first. But, you know, you could have her be a babyface that steps up to challenge that heel whenever that time comes. You know, we've always said that we may not care so much for the Nikki character, which I feel like, I think you even said this, and I would agree. They seem to have kind of pulled that back a bit and toned it down. And her in-ring has always been solid. I've never had a problem with her in-ring work. So, yeah, I mean...
She's kind of like a female Cody Rhodes as far as in-ring goes, in the sense that, like, you're never going to get a bad match out of her, but I don't know if she's ever going to be, like, putting on, like, the really amazing matches either, you know?
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, Cody has kind of, like, trumped that with the big match that he had against Dustin at Double or Nothing. So
yeah, exactly. And Mark Schoeneman just like called me on a pole match, more likely face palm. Yeah, I feel your pain there, Mark. So yeah, Bayley, please, for the love of God, retain. And can we please?
Thank you, Nigel.
Just fucking tap into this amazing women's division and freaking kill it.
Dude, I know. Like it's still like boggles my mind that the night of the Superstar Shakeup on SmackDown was so exciting because you had Ember, you had Bayley, you had Kyrie, you had Asuka, you had like such a loaded women's division. And the first sort of post-shakeup women's championship defense that Bayley gets is against a Raw woman. It's so ridiculous to me.
I hate it.
Here's the really hilarious thing, too, and by hilarious, I mean infuriating. I would be willing to bet that they are more likely to give either Sonya or Mandy the SummerSlam title match against Bayley than Ember.
Oh, yeah. Totally. Hell, dude, honestly, I mean, and I love Bayley, and she deserves this, and I want her to go out and kill it, but the only reason I would tolerate and I go back to Charlotte because I've gotten so accustomed to her. I would actually prefer her to Mandy, but Sonya actually would be my pick whenever they pull the trigger. The only reason I would be cool with her getting the title back again is because I know then that I don't think WWE would be opposed to a Charlotte Ember feud or a Charlotte this person feud. Like, showcase your fucking women. Infuriating was the correct word, friend. You hit the nail on the head. Please, Bayley, retain. I do think she'll retain. I think she needs to retain. And yeah, just let's get this fucking match over with and let's just get on with our usual bullshit. So what came after this?
Well, up next, we're going to talk about the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match. Daniel, Bryan, and Rowan, your current champions, defending against Heavy Machinery. I guess this was made official at some point this week. I don't think it was made official on SmackDown, though, but I don't know for sure. But yeah, what do you think of this match, man?
Finally, a match I give a shit about.
I know, dude. I can't wait. And the thing is, like, it's not even going to be like a classic. Like, it's not Bryan and Rowan against the Usos or the Revival or any like really amazing in-ring teams like that. But Daniel Bryan is the best wrestler in the world right now. And I'm okay with saying that out loud on a podcast where we cover New Japan because he's fucking incredible.
He is. Yeah, and see, this is why I'm excited about this match, because the people I'm most excited for are Heavy Machinery. Because when you get to work with a guy like Bryan makes people better. Bryan, and I've said this over and over again.
He brings out the best in everyone.
He does. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. When we look at Kofi Mania, Bryan was the perfect foil for Kofi to really give him all the white-hot momentum he needed to start his reign as WWE champion. And it's still carrying over to this day, you know? Yeah. And again, like
honestly, I honestly think that Kofi Mania was like a perfect storm in the sense that you had the perfect foil in place already. Ali's injury had to happen in order for it to go down. You had the New Day backing him and telling the story of, you know, he's been around for 11 years and he's never been thought of as a main eventer. And Kofi putting on these great performances in the Gauntlet and the Chamber and all that stuff. All that shit had to come together for their big culmination at WrestleMania. And that's why that's still my match of the year.
Oh, yeah. Mine as well so far. And, you know, that's the thing. When you've got a guy the level of Bryan that works the mic the way he does and works the ring the way he does and just overall carries himself the way that he does, everybody gets elevated. I also feel like Rowan has gotten better associating with Bryan. I've enjoyed him more with the stuff that he's doing with Bryan than I have his entire career.
I love his spinning crescent kick.
Yeah. Spinning crescent kick is great. Air Rowan.
Yeah.
I will say unironically too that I think Ella has made me more of a Rowan fan because just her commentary and enthusiasm I think just elevates him as well. So I think he's got kind of a perfect storm going on. And then again, you look at the Team Heavy Machinery. This is the biggest tag team match that they've had, and it's not just because it's for the championship, but again, you're in there with the best wrestler in the world right now. And that's what they fucking need, especially the fucking star of the team, fucking Otis. Otis and Bryan interacting has got me all kinds of excited. Because I think, you know, that's going to really be a chance for Otis to show what he does to a wide range of people that are going to have very passionate reactions because Bryan's in the ring and Bryan's going to be able to work off of that. And I think it's going to be a fun tag team match. I do see Rowan and Bryan retaining. I think this is a great thing for the tag division right now. And it's a great thing for Bryan. You know, he just got off of a huge... And see, Bryan's almost like the template for how you should be used. Turns heel, wins the world title, has a decent reign with the world title, drops in a huge match at Mania that, like, again, Kofi got the loudest reaction of the night. We even talked about that, the decibel data that came out. Got the loudest reaction. You know, Bryan was a part of that. Got his rematch, lost that, and now he's relegated to, like, a completely separate division. So he's kept fresh. You need to do this with more people because now he's taking his gifts to a tag division that, in my mind, definitely needs it. So yeah, I still want the eco-friendly tag titles. I still really want that to happen. I don't know if there are plans for it. I'd honestly be surprised because I heard the WWE Championship replica wooden titles sold like fucking hotcakes. I heard the sales were fucking crazy, so I'd be surprised if they didn't kind of do eco-friendly championships really for everything that Bryan touches. But that's a separate matter.
I'm more surprised they haven't done it yet. It's crazy, dude, because like when Bryan and Rowan showed up on Monday, I felt like the entire product just got better in that moment. Because, like, Bryan not being around, his absence has been felt, man.
Yeah, oh, totally. 100%.
And then you bring him back on an episode of the show that he's not even supposed to be on, and he still manages to save it.
Yeah. I mean, that clinic he had with Seth Rollins, even in spite of the shenanigans at the beginning.
So fucking good.
Like, best wrestler in the world right now.
I'm telling you, right, dude? Like,
no,
I even messaged Deluxe Man the other day, and I literally just said, Daniel Bryan is the best wrestler in the world. And he was just like, always was, my man. And I was just like, yeah, okay. Well, he kind of knew that for a while, or at least he had that opinion for a while. But yeah, man, like, I think I can honestly say that pending any drastic changes, Bryan's probably going to be number one on my overall list in August.
I think first of all, great choice. And I don't blame you for that. Second of all, in terms of the character and just booking and everything, not talking about like, the bumps or the health or like any of those extraneous things. But when we look at it purely from character and booking, I think so many wrestlers should aspire to have a career like Bryan. Know when to turn, know how to work a crowd, know what your character is, know how you want to carry. Like, he just gets it, I
just looked, and apparently Daniel Bryan already was the number one on my list from April, so it wouldn't be a new development. Oh, and apparently he was number one in January, too. Man, Daniel Bryan has been my number one all year. Superstar of the year, baby.
Yeah, dude, fucking totally. Because that's the thing. What wasn't it? Didn't it come out? Now, again, stories may just be stories, but I think it was even said, right, that Bryan was the one that pushed to turn heel because he could even sense that when he was a babyface on his big comeback, the crowd reactions were starting to die.
You know what? I don't know if that's true or not, but if it is true, I'm not surprised one bit because like he wasn't as over as when he was at his fucking peak of his powers in 2014 and maybe even a little 2015. And the fact that he went from over a 4.5 year period, he went from the most over babyface that the company has seen since peak John Cena in like 2005 to the most hated heel that the company has seen probably since like Rated R Superstar Edge.
Yes.
Incredible.
Yes. It is. It is absolutely incredible. He turned at the perfect time. He read the room. He understood what was happening, and he's fucking made it work. So again, Bryan and Rowan, I think, should retain. I look at this more as experience for Heavy Machinery to grow as a team, to have the crowd grow with them. This isn't their crowning moment yet. Honestly, I could see them getting crowned. I would not mind them getting crowned at a stage like a WrestleMania. Hell, maybe even, depending on how the crowd responds to this match, at a SummerSlam. But don't do it yet. Bryan, I think, has so much to give. I mean, hell, honestly, I don't even know what I want him to do after this, because his gifts are constant, no matter the division that he's in. Maybe I want him to go after Finn Balor in the Intercontinental title next. Can you imagine Balor versus fucking Bryan? Jesus Christ.
I mean, yeah, here's the thing. That would have to come post-tag title run, right?
Right. Yes. Yes.
So I'm more thinking, what tag team from SmackDown could challenge Bryan and Rowan for their titles?
Yeah, and that is the question. And honestly, I don't have an answer.
Maybe like a returning babyface Nakamura and Rusev team.
Maybe. God, those guys too. Yeah, we need so many talents on here that aren't being used.
I know, dude. It's crazy. Maybe even like former cruiserweights team up, and we get the team of Murphy and Ali as a couple of baby faces.
Damn, dude, that would be something. And because here's the thing, Murphy called out Ali, so if you wanted to, I'm not saying you should, but if you wanted to, you could even almost do like a Lorcan and Birch type deal where maybe they start competing against each other.
Or, I know you said Lorcan and Birch, and it's along those same lines, but I was thinking like Sheamus Cesaro. Like, you give them like a best of 7 series where they just beat the shit out of each other and prove how incredible they are for 2 months and become like the most anticipated segment every SmackDown for like a couple months. And then when all the dust has settled and it ends in a big draw, then they start teaming up and they go after the tag titles. That's perfect.
Yeah, totally. But because you're going to need fresh blood after this. I love Heavy Machinery, but everybody, you know, you're always looking for the next thing.
Yeah.
And that
you could literally repeat the bar storyline with Murphy and Ali, and it would be somehow way better even than the original bar storyline. Like, I'm sure it's been done countless times before with other people, you know, to form tag teams, but it's just the one that comes to my mind because it's the most recent example I can think of.
The only other name I'm going to put in the hat, if you want to just kind of spice things up a bit, we already got a tease of a babyface Awesome Truth. I wouldn't mind that team with Miz and Bryan's history. You know, you do that again. I mean, I know Truth, he's kind of owning the 24/7 title. He is the 24/7 title right now. But if you would want to kind of expand that and keep Miz hot as a babyface, who better to keep the momentum alive than the top heel in the company right now? So, you know, that's just another idea too. Regardless of where they go, I know Bryan and Rowan are putting their best foot forward with the tag division. And I hope they keep doing it, man. It's fucking great stuff. And I do think they'll keep doing it because I am picking them to retain. It's on the booking now to sustain everything they've done. So what's our next matchup here?
Yeah, I was even, before we do move on, I was even going to ask you, like, do you know of any other tag teams that even exist on SmackDown? Or would they really just have to throw two guys together and try and make it work? Because right now, I mean, I don't know if the Hardy Boys are coming back anytime soon, but that's literally the only, like, and the Colognes are like the only cohesive, actual, real tag teams that I'm seeing on the SmackDown roster, other than the champions and Heavy Machinery, obviously.
The Colognes have been off TV so fucking long, you could easily re-debut them as baby faces. And, like, I'd really love for them to interact with Bryan, so I like that idea.
Do we want to basically just do their whole, like, the whole shtick that they had going on with Rosa Mendez, where you just give them like a female valet and just have maybe even like someone that could kind of pass as like a new generation Rosa Mendez, like a Vanessa Bourne or someone like that, as like a valet to come out and dance and just kind of be the exact same kind of thing that they were back then.
Yeah. Except again, as faces, you know, maybe. Yeah.
Well, they were faces back then too, weren't they?
No, they were heels. They were heels back then. Yeah. Yeah, so that would be, again, that's why I really have to stress, because if you're working with...
That could be really fun, though.
Dude, I miss seeing them wrestle. You mentioning that team, I'm like, damn, because they were really good when they were actually given fucking TV time. God! Just always something to be angry about with this fucking product.
I'm so sorry, I didn't mean it.
No, it's okay. It's just...
We've been seeing Apollo a lot on SmackDown. Maybe we get him in a team. I mean, I don't know. We could figure something out there.
God, dude, speaking of... just a quick aside, since we're going to be moving on to our next matchup anyway here. You talk about Apollo. Who's Apollo connected to? Fucking Andrade. Who's not on this card? Fucking Andrade and Balor for the IC title.
Yeah, that's frustrating too. I was just going to say, though, like, I wonder if Chad Gable has been scouting Apollo as a tag team partner. We can get a new alpha.
Oh, God, again. Oh, God. Oh. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I want to die. Let's move on to the next matchup.
Okay, Samoa Joe versus Ricochet. You don't want to die anymore.
Okay, here's the thing.
Maybe you do want to die because then you go to wrestling heaven and get this every day.
I'm actually, and I'm sensing we're going to disagree here. I'm picking Ricochet to win the title here.
Dude, I actually agree. I'm picking Ricochet too. It's actually crazy because I think my reasoning is like they didn't want Joe to keep the title for a long time anyway. They wanted it to be on Ray, but Ray got hurt and he had to relinquish it. So now they're just going to put it on like a Ray kind of replacement in Ricochet. Like Ricochet it's a better version of everything Ray has ever been, you know?
Yeah, my logic to the fucking letter, dude. I feel like they wanted Ray to have the title. The injury happened, so you want a Rey Mysterio template. I mean, and fuck template, like you, I agree. He's superior to Rey in every way.
It's the improved model.
Yeah. And I feel like, they wanted like a high-flying U.S. champion. Doesn't get any better than Ricochet. I could
sorry about interrupting you, but here's a thought that I had when we were talking about the first match. What if Owens, Zayn getting kind of BTFO'd by New Day happens, and then Zayn goes on to challenge Ricochet, and Owens goes on to challenge Balor?
I would not mind that. I mean, Owens and Balor, that's a feud from NXT, at least towards the end there. And Zayn Ricochet, that's a fresh fucking matchup. So
I know, dude. I want it so bad.
And really, here's the thing too, and this is going to be my, I guess, only moment, at least I hope, only moment of hypocrisy with Ricochet as U.S. champion. I wouldn't mind them doing more Cesaro Ricochet matches. I was really fucking enjoying those matches on.
Yeah.
So that's one rehash that I don't fucking mind. But yeah, and look. God, can I really say this? I think I'm a safe enough distance, so I'm just gonna, open my fucking mouth here. I love Joe. Joe is daddy material. Not trying to disrespect the pimp, but his booking, I feel like Joe goes from like badass to anybody can beat Samoa Joe, and I could totally see the finish being he gets caught in the coquina clutch and pinned by Ricochet. Like Ricochet just catches him in something, victory roll, coquina clutch, variant pin, whatever, and he gets caught just like Ray caught him.
You know what's gonna happen, dude?
Yeah, what's that?
Joe's gonna try, and we know Joe can't actually use the muscle buster, but he still tries to set it up sometimes. He's going to try and set Ricochet up for a muscle buster, and Ricochet's going to knock him down in perfect position for a 630 and beat him that way.
Yeah, you're probably right. I'm so excited for Ricochet because even though the mid-card titles, it's kind of an ebb and flow of how much they matter, depending on who gets it at any given time. But Ricochet, given the matches he had with Cesaro most recently, like the U.S. title could be its own fucking workhorse title, like what I think Balor's been trying to do when he also gets fucking TV time. And, he could really do something like I love your idea of Ricochet Zayn. And personally, I would have Zayn because that would be his first singles title. I would have him win the U.S. title at SummerSlam.
Yeah, I was even going to say, I would do, if they feel like they have to get the Ricochet Joe rematch out of the way, fine, do it. Then go into Ricochet Cesaro, then do Ricochet Zayn with Zayn winning the title.
Yes, abso-fucking-lutely. So we actually both agree. I'm pleasantly surprised Ricochet to become the new, for the first time in his career, United States champion. So we'll see.
All right, let's get into the seventh match then. This is the WWE Championship ladder match. Kofi Kingston defending against Dolph Ziggler. I got to tell you, I wish I cared more about this, and I'm hoping it's a good match at least, but I just am ready for Kofi to retain and move on to his next feud because Ziggler is doing absolutely nothing for me.
Okay, just two things I want to say. First and foremost, Kofi retains. I'm just going to get that out of the way
right now. Yeah, agreed.
The only two things, because again, fuck everything about this show for the most part. The only two things I want to say about this. One, fucking bless Kofi Kingston. Kofi, seriously, like he is fucking out there. and media interviews and whatever, he is trying to sell this fucking feud. Oh, you know, me and Dolph, really, when you think about it, we've been feuding for years. We fought over the Intercontinental title, the U.S. title, and now we're fighting for the world title. Like, Kofi's trying to make this a grander narrative, which he has a right to do because he's not telling a lie. But, you know, he is trying to make this a grander narrative than what the confines of the booking have actually made it. The story really does seem to be that, you know, Dolph is just jealous of Kofi's success. He feels like he should have had Kofi's spot since they were on, you know, similar trajectories.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing, though, is that like it is like a long-term storytelling in a way, because Dolph is only as jealous as he is because he felt like Kofi's contemporary for the longest time, and he always felt like, well, you know, I'm better than this guy. I'm going to win a world title before he does. And then when Kofi won the world title, that just shook, I guess you could say, Ziggler to his core.
Right. And the second thing I want to say about this is, to me, and I've had fears that Dolph might win because we just saw a heel win a cage match in a very shady way at Money in the Bank very recently, Shane beating The Miz. Why Kofi needs to win this? We want to talk about burials and bookings and how it's infuriating when a heel, mainly Alexa Bliss comes to mind, tells the truth. The whole thing about this rematch is Xavier did get involved for like a second at Super Sellouts, and Kofi retained, and Dolph wanted the cage because it's like, oh, New Day can't interfere, which is kind of a tone-deaf concept. We've seen people interfere in cage matches, but putting that aside.
Yeah, it should have been Hell in a Cell. Gall.
Yeah, you fucking mark. But, you know, like, why Kofi to me needs to retain. We can't have the heel tell the truth about this because to me it'll invalidate, even though we the fans know that that's not true. Just in the context of the booking, it'll invalidate Kofi's entire title reign. Oh, so Dolph was right. You couldn't be WWE champion without the New Day. Nah, let's not fucking do Kofi like that. Okay, he's really worked hard for
this.
I
mean, to be fair, just to kind of think of it from like a what's next perspective, I feel like there are more credible heels on SmackDown than there are credible like upper card baby faces, if that makes sense.
I mean, dude, it's a fucking sad state of affairs when I would prefer Randy Orton just because of all the heat that like used to exist between him and Kofi. And
the
09. Yeah, and like everything. I would prefer that.
To be fair, dude, it's a decade. It's been a decade. They might actually go there with Kofi.
I mean, they may. I'd find that infinitely fucking Borton more interesting than Dolph. I'm fucking old, but it should have been me, Ziggler. And by old, I mean old in the fucking face. You know you're a failure. Your face is etched with despair. Get over it, because God knows you're not. Getting over it.
Dolph is 38 years old.
Yeah, but he's like 60 in the face with all that failure.
Kofi is 37.
But yeah.
And Randy Orton is 39. Those guys are all a year apart.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Right?
But yeah, please, just have Kofi retain, get Dolph out of the title picture, and I don't even care who's next because Kofi's been such a solid promo. Like, he is where my investment is, which I guess shows
you don't care who's next. It'll be fucking Roman.
Oh, crap. Well, it would be a face versus face feud, and I don't think WWE would do that if that was
no,
the case.
But they do those. They do those at SummerSlam though, so I'd be on the lookout, man.
I mean, maybe. I mean, we'll see. But even Roman, God, just because of the response that he gets and everything, I think would be a step up from fucking Dolphin. So go fuck yourself, Flipper. Kofi retains. Next.
Okay, yep. Next, we've got the Raw Women's Championship match. Becky defending against Lacey. This is honestly like, I feel like I'm waffling more on this than I should be because it should just be an easy like, well, Becky retains, but it's their second match on a pay-per-view, and that always makes me uneasy.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. I totally get that because I've kind of wondered, you know, is Lacey?
Would they?
You know, is Lacey going to win the championship?
Yeah. Like, do they see Becky as a better chaser than champion, maybe?
I'm going to say no, because if we are to buy in, and I do to a point, admittedly, so I am kind of slanted in that direction, that Becky is kind of one of the quote-unquote top guys as far as this division and stuff goes. You know how fucking protected top guys are.
Yeah.
I feel like Becky's going to be in a similar way. So I'm going to say Becky retains. I don't think she's, and again, like I always look at big fours for big performers, as either they're going to get like the huge win or they're finally going to drop something. Becky's not losing that title any earlier than SummerSlam to me. And she may even go beyond. She may go all the way to next year's WrestleMania to maybe formally have a rematch with Rousey. Becky Rousey just one-on-one, no Charlotte this time. I would not be surprised at all. I'm just going to put that out there. Do I?
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. I think if Ronda does come back in time, I think she'll end up winning the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I could totally see that, which would break my heart on one hand because I'm kind of hoping Kyrie wins the Rumble for a Kyrie Mania since we just mentioned it a few moments ago. But yeah, I mean, if Ronda was to get her head out of her ass and be like, okay, I still want to do this and I want to do 4 horsemen versus 4 horsewomen, yeah, easy Rumble winner right there. But so I'm just going to say, I think it'll be a good match. I think it'll be a better match than people are kind of giving it credit for. I think people are kind of suffering a dissonance between like the gimmick and the person and her in-ring ability, where like we know the person's kind of trash, but at least in the in-ring, she's solid. So I do think the in-ring will deliver, but Becky will retain. And I don't know what her next feud's going to be, but I hope it's good, whatever it is. So yeah.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Who's Becky's next feud, assuming she retains?
I mean, I just said that I don't know, but if you had to press me, which, I'm assuming that's what's happening here.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck. They just had Alexa feud for the SmackDown Women's title. I could see her cutting Becky off tomorrow night and being like, I couldn't beat Bayley, but I know I could beat you. And maybe they do that. They love pushing Alexa. Alexa, I think, is somebody, yeah.
And you know what, too? Yeah. Alexa would be a really good kind of hold me over feud until Shayna can drop the NXT title, because I want Shayna Becky for the title so bad.
Not to mention, and first of all, I do agree, but not to mention why I'm confident about Alexa, 2 things, because I could easily see this in Alexa promo. It was Becky that Alexa beat for her very first women's championship.
Yep.
And she beat Becky in the very first, at least in WWE standards, women's steel cage match because of La Luchadora being Mickie James. So Mickie can just say, when the lights are, Alexa can just say to Becky, when the lights are on bright, I always beat you when it matters. You can't beat me. And that's how they do their feud. So yeah, if you're putting a gun to my head, I'd say Alexa's going to be the next feud. She's going to go from Bayley to Becky.
It's just interesting, though, because when you look at the Raw women's roster, it's Becky and a bunch of heels. Or really, it's Becky and Naomi and a bunch of heels. Actually, there are other faces, too. Natalia's on the Raw roster. Sarah Logan is going to be a face, I believe. Dana Brooke is a face, even if she's not very credible. So maybe I should reverse that and say, as far as heels go, it's really just Alexa and Lacey, and that's like it. I mean, even Nikki is more of a face,
Oh, absolutely. And
with
with
so
Billy,
as far as I actually had it backwards. It's the heels that it's just 2, and then everyone else, they're just like surrounded by a sea of faces.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, Becky to retain. Then we move on to Alexa Becky.
Yeah, we've got to get. We've just got to like bide our time. Maybe even like Charlotte starts doing what Alexa did and like kind of comes over and then tries to encroach on Becky's territory and tries to take the Raw Women's title from her.
Oh, please, God, no more Becky Charlotte matches. Please.
I'm not hoping for it, but I'm just saying, you've got such a limited heel roster on Raw, they might have to dip into SmackDown like what they did for the SmackDown Women's title using Alexa for Bayley.
Yeah, no, I understand it's not what you're asking for, but
I'm starting to feel like one of these titles is going to change hands, man.
Yeah. I mean, because my only title change right now is Ricochet becoming United States champion, but
one of the women's titles.
Right. Well, if it was, I'd say Becky is more prone to dropping hers than Bayley is.
I would agree. I'm just like, I'm slowly talking myself into picking Lacey to win, and it's scaring me.
Oh, damn. All right. Well, do you want to resolve that conflict before we move on? Is it Becky or is it Lacey?
Oh God, I'll stick with Becky for now. But if we don't get a new opponent for Becky, and something new and interesting, I'm probably going to pick her to drop the title at Extreme Rules. But I'll keep it on Becky for now. But just know I am really because really what I'm thinking is like another option would be if Becky does drop it to Lacey. We could do Becky Lacey one more time and have Lacey retain, and then Lacey Naomi could be a thing.
Yeah, I do like that idea. Because again, Lacey is solid in ring, and really,
plus, I think you could argue that would be the 2 most athletic women on Raw too.
Yeah, for sure. And I do feel like Becky is above the championship. My only concern because there have been plenty of think pieces. We've talked plenty ourselves about how the women's revolution in WWE really isn't. They don't really know how to do multiple women's feuds or multiple things that don't revolve around the championship. So my concern is with Becky without the championship, is she still a priority? Is she still over in their minds?
Yeah.
Can they do right by her without the title? That is my gravest concern in all this. But yeah, I mean, I totally get the dilemma that you've kind of talked yourself into and that you've kind of expressed to all of us, that it is a very limited pool of heel. It's two fucking people. It's a fucking kiddie pool, for Christ's sake. So if you put it on a heel, though, then you're kind of dealing more with an ocean, seeing as how it seems like every woman is woke up on the right side of the bed in the morning. So yeah, I'll stick with Becky as well, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into our final match, our main event. Seth Rollins defending the Universal title against Baron Corbin with a special guest referee who is yet to be announced.
Yeah, to quote Mark Shonen's blog again, because I really enjoyed it. He was like, "We don't know who the referee is. It's Brock, and then we don't know until it's announced. It's Brock." So yeah, and I know you were pushing that it was going to be Brock on Raw. I've definitely come around to that reasoning. I don't know why I thought that it was Bray Wyatt. I'll tell you why. Because he's the most interesting thing to me right now on the Raw product. And I'm just waiting to see him make like an in-television return. Because I'm still chomping at the fucking bit for The Fiend versus Rollins at SummerSlam for the Universal Championship. So I hope we fucking get there, but we're not quite there yet. So Brock does seem to be the most logical choice for special guest referee. Okay, so I'm going to just give my prediction immediately, and I'm just going to like answer my own follow-up questions and address my follow-up concerns here. Rollins retains. Brock will not cash in. But I do worry, and here's my biggest concern. Corbin's putting his trust in Brock really for one reason. It's not even that he likes Brock or he thinks that Brock will do right by him. He just knows that Brock won't be fucked with by Rollins prior to the match, and he needs his own ref. And maybe he's counting on that Brock hates Rollins and he would prefer to like do business with Corbin in the future. I see a moment, I think I even said this somewhere, I don't know if I just said it to you and not on a podcast, where Corbin and Brock have a miscommunication. Maybe Corbin gets an errant lariat on Brock or a right hand or whatever. Brock snaps on Corbin, leaves them both down, lays them both out. Then an actual WWE official comes in. Rollins gets the pin. Corbin's gripe on Raw. It was a special guest referee match. The only legitimate authority was the authority that I chose. That wasn't my referee that made the count. Therefore, Rollins' win is null and void. Therefore, I still deserve an opportunity at the Universal Championship. And we do this match again at Extreme Rules. Which, if they do that, now let me, I tell you about to say something. I just need to finish this real quick. I don't want that to happen. But I worry with Rollins being the top Raw guy, I don't want them to use the AJ Styles formula for title reigns where you run feuds into the fucking ground. Yeah. No one to put the horse back in the goddamn stable. Or given that it's Corbin, the glue factory. I don't give a fuck which. And then you move on to another feud that people actually give a fuck about. But I am utterly petrified that Corbin is going to give a monster power. That monster's going to say, fuck you, because something goes wrong. And then Corbin's going to be like, but it's not fair. And my stomach frowned after the match because I was screwed and I deserve a rematch at Extreme Rules. And we're doing this bullshit again. So Rollins to retain, but with a fuck ton of bullshit is my prediction. Now, what do you think?
Yeah, so I just wanted to comment on your fantasy booking scenario that you think might happen. Even if all of that would go down, I think the rematch, the Corbin Rollins, their third match or whatever number match it would go down on an episode of Raw rather than at Extreme Rules.
I hope you're fucking right. If we have to do this again, do it on a fucking Raw, please. Oh my God.
I don't think we got to worry about it though. I would guess it would be as simple as like fucking maybe, I don't know. Like I loved your booking right up until the fuck finish, because like I like the idea of Corbin and Brock having a miscommunication, and I do agree that Brock's going to be ref. I've been saying that for a while now, or at least since Paul Heyman's promo. I do think that it's going to be Brock. And I do like the idea of he and Corbin having like a miscommunication. Maybe it's even something as simple as like Corbin hits a deep 6 on Rollins and Brock counts to 2 and Corbin freaks out and gets in his face and maybe even like shoves him. And then Brock shoves him back really hard and it knocks him down. And it maybe gives Rollins an opportunity to do like a roll up or a curb stomp or something like that. And maybe Brock even screws Corbin out of the title.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's going to be like the whole referee controversy where Brock ends up laid out somehow. And really, if that would happen, who would do it, right? And, you know, they have to bring in a new ref and the new ref counts and then Corbin has a complaint. I don't think any of that's going to happen.
Just to correct you, because I know like the core of what I said remained intact, but I just thought Brock would leave after he laid waste to both. I don't think anybody's going to lay him out because I think that would kill his aura. But I do think he'd be like, fuck this. But no, I do think the core of what you're saying does remain intact. Just a minor correction there, just so that we get.
Well, no, I'm glad that you corrected me though, because I wasn't sure how we ended up with Brock out of the match. So I'm glad you specified that.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think that we're going to end up losing Brock as a referee. I just think he's going to end up costing Corbin somehow. And I mean, the thing is, even though, you know, Corbin will still be able to complain, it'll be like that whiny, like, oh, I got screwed. And then like Triple H or whoever the authority figures at the time is can be like, shut up, Corbin. You know, like they can sit down. That's kind of what I'm expecting to happen. So yeah, I think you and I are in agreement though on the most important thing, which is Rollins retains. Although the difference is, I think it'll be clean. Maybe, you know, Brock contributes a little bit, but I don't think that he's going to need all that much help to beat Corbin, considering he's just done it.
Right.
So.
All right. Well, mercifully, that is the Stomping Grounds card, and I've got to say, after talking about it and thinking of all the possibilities, good and bad, I might have actually talked myself down from my prior score.
Oh, God! I talked myself up. I'm up to like a 6 now.
Yeah, I feel like I'm just gonna stick with a 3 out of 10 for this. Let's get through it. And I fucking hate this, and this show can suck my ass. And if I had the ability to, I would hunch over, pull my pants down, and just pop a nice fucking squat. All that fucking steaming stool right on its fucking face. So yeah, fuck Stomping Grounds, and this brought to you by G1 Climax 29. If you don't watch it, I feel sorry for you. So yeah, thanks everybody. You still squealing over there? You got a little bit more you want to get out?
I'm good.
Okay, yeah. I want to thank everybody that came out. God knows your time is valuable like our time, and I can't tell you what it means to me to hear that you guys are here listening to us and supporting us. You guys are fucking awesome, because God knows this show isn't worth any support whatsoever, but I'm glad you all think that we're worthy of support, because believe me, there is a categorical distinction between this shit and our fucking excellence, and I'm glad that you guys recognize that.
Let me ask you a question, though, dude.
Sure.
Do you want to do like Twitch live stream of Rocket League during Raw this coming week, since Raw might actually be decent and we might actually be able to like react to some interesting shit while we play?
Sure. I don't know how we manage that though, because if Raw is going to be interesting, like I would like to visibly see it, and you know, I usually
just like the way you and I do it. Like we'll have Raw on in the background. I'll have it on my TV. You can have it pulled up in a separate tab.
Right.
Rocket League most of the time, but if something interesting starts happening, we'll finish out the game and we'll watch it and we'll react to it.
All right, we could give it a try. I don't know how well that'll come off, but we could give it a try.
And I don't think we'll have to do it throughout the whole show either. Like we're not going to do all 3 hours. That's crazy.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm open to that. And you know, we'll see how it all goes down. So guys, we will see you again on Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern time for Stomping Grounds live reactions. Yippee!
I'm so fucking excited, and I love it.
Yeah. So we'll see you guys then. Actually, no, I won't even tell you to bring the positivity, because I'm assuming Wes is going to be in our chat. He'll have enough positivity for all of us. Bless his fucking heart. So you guys bring whatever disposition you feel comfortable with. If you want to shit, take a shit. If you want to be positive, be positive. We welcome all dispositions here. And believe me, I'll be raining down fucking being a sourpuss and negativity, I'm pretty sure, for the entire fucking show. Save for the matches that I'm looking forward to, because, you know, there is at least an enclave of happiness somewhere. So we'll see you guys then, and I'm going to hand it over to Ashton to take us home.
I'll enclave your face.
I bet you fucking will, and it would still be better than this fucking product.
Oh, shit. You're going all in on it, man. Damn. All right. Well, we hope that you all enjoyed our preview and predictions. If you did, please like this video. More importantly, though, make sure when this video is fully processed to comment with what you think is going to happen on this show down in the comments section. We would love to hear all of your predictions as well as your thoughts on our predictions. That being said, you can also subscribe to this channel if you're new. You can click the bell icon to join the notification squad. You can follow us both on Twitter and on Twitch. And like John and I just kind of discussed, we'll probably be live on Twitch at some point during Monday Night Raw this week. You can also buy our merch on Teespring, like our Facebook page, donate to our Patreon, and share this channel and this video with all of your wrestling fan friends and let them in on the best kept secret in the YouTube wrestling community. That's right. We are TwitWow, and we are the workhorses of the YWC. And I got to tell you, man, I already told you earlier, not too long ago, I'm up to about a 6 here. So I'm actually a little bit more excited for this show. I do want to emphasize that it's really only 3 matches, although I have got myself more psyched about the main event, too, the Universal title match. So I'm up to 4 matches now that I'm at least somewhat excited for. All that said, though, we are going to be live reacting to this show on Sunday. And then next week on Tuesday picks up a whole stream of content as we're going to be doing, you know, the old live reactions to SmackDown and NXT on Tuesday and Wednesday. Then we've got Q&A on Thursday. Then we're going to be doing a preview and predictions for AEW's Fyter Fest, which occurs on Saturday the 29th, and we will live react to that. But the preview predictions will be a week from today, next Friday, the 28th, same time, 9 p.m. Eastern time. And we hope that you're all able to join us for that as well. That being said, we hope you all enjoyed. And whatever shows you happen to stick around for the coming week, all that we ask you to do is remember to stay tuned.